So don't you walk out here today and say, well, I've got it under control. I ain't never going to sin. Every time I hear a story like that, I think about this pastor. I mean, this guy was a great anointed man of God, and he got to a place, and I done a teaching after this happened to him. I done a teaching, Surviving the Anointing. I've realized that's why God don't give the anointing to young men. It's tough enough to survive the anointing when you're old, much less when you're young. You know, when I will hear somebody tell me, you know, that, look at this man. He has prayed for thousands that have been healed. He's prayed for hundreds that have got out of wheelchairs and walked off. He's prayed for women with breast cancer. Hundreds of them have been miraculously healed. If you're not careful, all of a sudden you begin to say, wow, look at me, I'm somebody. But you got to remember who did that. And it wasn't you. It was the Lord. As an older man, you can say, you can humble yourself and say, all I got to do was pray the prayer for those people. The King, my God, He healed them. All I did was pray. All I did was tell them their sin from His Word. And then when they repented, I prayed, and He healed them. I didn't have nothing to do with it except just, my part's easy. Lay hands on the sick and they'll get well. Boy, wasn't my part hard? See, so you think that would heal anybody? No, but my obedience to do what He said would let Him do it, right? But anyway, this pastor, he had got to that point where he thought he was somebody. And somebody said, you know, you really are an attractive man. You know that? Said, you really better watch the women. He said, I can overcome any woman. You know, so there's not a woman alive that can get me to sin. A little bit of pride in that. You hear that? One day he's preaching in his church and in walks a knockout. I mean, this woman is gorgeous. He was preaching and he stopped. She was so beautiful. Every once in a while you'll see one, you know, the average woman, you know, just an average woman. You know, every once in a while you see one of those kind that's just out there. You know, she don't even know how beautiful she is. And that's what she was. And he was preaching and he stopped and watched her walk. And then all of a sudden he caught himself and he started preaching again. Well, the longer she came to church there, the more attracted to her he became. And she knew exactly what she was doing. And one day he says, you know, would you like to go to dinner with me tonight? He was a single guy. And she said, of course, I would love it. So she went to dinner with him. They went out a few times. He contained himself, although she was beautiful as she could be. And she rubbed all over him in the places she shouldn't, but she knew what she was doing. She was trying to entice him. Finally, she got him to go to an apartment. And he's in that apartment. He's thinking, now, I'm not going to sin against God. So she's just pulled herself up to him. And I mean, she is just doing everything she can to entice him. And all of a sudden, he says, I can't stand it. And he just grabs her and he rips her top off and then rips her skirt off. And he's fixing to go to bed with this woman. I mean, he is some kind of excited. And all of a sudden, this most gorgeous, beautiful woman looked him right in the eye and said, you said you would never be able to be deceived by a woman. Now, how does she know that? But she said, I have deceived you. And he said, all of a sudden, that woman turned into the most ghastly, wicked thing I had ever saw in my life. She was a demon from the devil. Taught him a lesson. You're a man. And there is one out there that can get through to you if you're not staying real close to God. You know that? Temptation. That's why you got to stay close to Jesus.